Hey guys, I am here making a video for Thaumcraft, and I'm missing a piece of my tank here. Let's put that back, there we go. Alright, so the way Thuamcraft works is it uses two materials called, one material called Vis, which then breaks down into two different materials once it's filtered. Now I'm not going to get into the details of Vis. You can always check the wiki page or our main thread post, link will be in the description. Now, what I have here is probably what as far as I'm concerned, the best way to create a filtration system. Because as you know, or as you may or may not know, when you put something in the crucible of any kind, or if you use a crucible of souls, if you're more likely to get more taint, you get Vis and Taint. Now, the setup I have here concentrates all of the Vis into this tank, Taint into this tank, and then you can mix them and put the mixed output into this tank. Now, this machine is the Infuser, and it uses the pure Vis more than anything else. Well, actually, it runs solely on pure Vis. So if you've got it all pushed, all the Vis slammed into one tank, what you end up with is a lot of taint and almost no Vis, right? And then here you have the dark infuser, which runs on Vis and taint, and the crystallizer, which can run on both. However, the crystallizer, you won't get any tainted crystals if you don't have it connected to if you don't have any source of taint going into it, because the crystallizer will randomize what kind of crystals you get. So, as you may or may not have known, these pumps can be controlled with a redstone signal. As you can see, I have this torch connected to these two pumps, as same with over here. As you can see, this pump isn't functioning, but that one is, and so is this one. So, on to the details. I'll get into how to construct it a bit later. It looks fairly simple. Actually, I'll give you guys a good view in case you want to pause the video and try and copy it. There's a view here, and a view there. So, here's how it works. So you get your block of diamond. Let's put actually 3 in there, or whatever, and it doesn't necessarily have to be diamond. So you just kind of go pew, and you throw it in there. Now I'm using the Thaumium crucible here, so it will never overflow. So as you can see, it runs down this line through the pump into here. Now these are advanced valves, and this valve is set to only extract pure Vis, and the other pump, which I fell over, this other pump is designed to extract only tainted Vis. Now the way this works is that since only pure Vis goes into this tank, and you can see the pure Vis is rising, it's that V, the pink number, and this other Vis, the tainted Vis, is rising only. Oh, looks like it is stopped because it's the pure Vis. Now it's going to extract in different orders. It doesn't really matter. Once it's done, you'll never have an even amount. It's I don't know. It's just mechanics of Vis. You'll probably get more Vis than taint out of something. So this tank will always fill up faster than the taint tank. The taint tank. So right now it's pulling. You can see there's one taint in the pipe. This thing is extracting the taint out of the valve, or out of the crap that's going in there. It looks like it's done, so it's about to drain out completely. So once it's done, tick tock. I have these redstone signals here connected to the pump, so you flip that switch and it will initialize these two pumps, which will mix into this, and then I'll get into what the other lever does in a minute. So this is empty, and now we have some taint and we have some Vis, and they're just chilling on those tanks. So now let's say you want to use a dark infuser, which needs Vis and taint, and you don't really want to be left with just a lot of crap. So what you can do is flip this switch, right? And then what's going on down here is this pump is extracting pure Vis and this pump is extracting tainted. I'm going to shut that off right now before I lose it all. And what it's doing is it pumps from this tank and pumps them both into this tank, where it mixes them, which then is pumped through this pump and over here into this tank. And now you've got a mix of taint and Vis. So now all 3 tanks are filled. So let's say you want to prove everything. You got the infuser. Let's make a contained emptiness. So you put in here, contained. There, that's gonna do stuff. You see the Vis is rising, and there's that. Right? Now you have a contained emptiness, which is used for the traveling trunk, I think. You basically increase capacity of shit. Anyways, now you have the dark infuser and the crystallizer. That's what that thing's called. So to prove the dark infuser will work, let's make one of these guys. So you need a piece of glass, that thing, and this thing. Mix it. Soul fragment, brain, glass, and you see they both rise. Mix and taint, and it's draw it out from it. And there's your brain in a jar. There we go. And the crystallizer will also work. And put some gems in there. And as you can see, it's drawing out the Vis and the taint. Just drawing the taint out slowly. But if you do not have this thing connected to any form of source of taint, it won't make any tainted crystals, which is this slot here. It'll only make earth, water, Vis, what's this one? Vaporous and fire. So once that's at least makes one crystal. Now let's say you don't want this tank full anymore, like you want to empty it out, right? Well, now you can go ahead and flip this switch, and it activates that pump, which will actually pull out any remaining mixed taint or mixed Vis, so that it pulls out the crap in this tank. Let's shut it off completely so this thing can still function, and it actually pumps it back into the main line, right where that's connected to the crystal, and forces it through these two valves, and it refilters it. So here you have the mixing system, is this lever, and the refiltering system, if you will. So this thing still mixing there. You have an earthen crystal. I don't think you'll ever make it. This thing's completely random when it makes its crystals, so be wary of that. Now I'll show you guys right now how to basically construct a very basic model of it. So you need this and you need this. So I'm just gonna go over here, ManPC Village. Let's go over here, right? So you need your input, which is this crystal, and then you need the tanks. So let's put a tank here. Just make small tanks for the sake of demonstration. Right? You need those tanks. So what you're going to do is you're going to connect this, and then put a valve here and put a valve here. Now set them to however you want it. So I want pure Vis there and dark Vis there, or tainted Vis, sorry. And then you're going to connect it here, like so. You don't necessarily have to put a pump, but I like to make sure pressure stays the same. I pumped that the wrong way. There we go. So that's going to pump stuff. That's going to separate them into here. Right? And to test it, there we go. Block of diamonds. So we're just going to chuck a block in here. Let it cook. And there you go. Why you no pump? It's being all derpy. Oh, I know why. I put the pump in the wrong spot. That was my bad. It should be like around here, because if you look at it, it says 5 underneath the two colored numbers in gray. It says 5 Vis and TCB. I don't actually know what TCB stands for, but this is actually your pressure rating. So as you can see, like right here, it's 0, and that's at the pump there. So this is 0, so you need to add the pump. Put it about here. See, now it's working. It's kind of in an awkward place, but at the same time it's not. But it works. You want to put the pump where the pressure rating is really low. The Vis and Taint, it's gonna have, sometimes it'll show different pressure ratings for different different types of Vis. So there we go. Now it's pumping everything in accordingly. Looks like it's pumped out all the taint. So that's how much taint was in that one block of diamond, 171. And that's how much Vis is in there, 401. So it's done pumping, right? Now what you need to do is you need to create a mixing tank, if you will. So you put, that's what I do. Put 2 pipes connecting it. You could connect, you can't connect it, like have it pump into the middle there, because then you end up getting clogged with taint or clogged with vis. You have to have them mixed in the tank. So I'm gonna just connect, oops, overshot that a little bit. There we go. And like that. So now if you look at we're gonna look at the pressure rating, and the pressure rating for this is not going down because the tank gives off a pressure and this tank gives off a pressure. Just like the crucible and the pumps give off pressure, but you want to increase the pump because then it moves, or increase the pressure rating because it goes faster. So let's put it here. So boom, right? It's extracting pure vis, but I don't want to start doing that yet. Pull the vis back out. Alright. And then we're going to put the other pump accordingly, and just put it right here. I put like that on purpose. That's not me being derpy. Okay, so now you don't necessarily have to wire it with redstone, but I mean, come on now, it makes more sense, right? Let's get rid of this. You don't need that anymore. So you're gonna take a redstone torch. If you have the pump side by side, you could just put the torch in the middle. You don't necessarily have to, but I'm going to do that just because it's easier. It's simpler to wire. I put that in the wrong spot. I broke the wiring there too. Okay. So now we're just gonna dig out a little bit like that. Grab your redstone and just pop it down there. Grab your input method, if you will. So in this case I'm using a lever. You could rig it to a button, you could rig it to whatever you want. So there you go. So now you want to put the torch here, you want to have this line. So you want, okay, by default you want these things to have an input, because when these things are receiving a power or receiving redstone charges, they're not pumping. So it's best to hook these up with a NOT gate. Now this little guy here, you can see me holding it. That thing is the arcane tinkering tool, and you just right click it to orient stuff. So these are now oriented in the right direction. So when you flip this, it's now set up so that when you flip the switch, both pumps will activate, unless, you know, one pump decides it wants to shit a brick. Apparently, it wants to shit a brick. Let's put it there. Yeah. Okay. So even if you have one pump going, it's not that big a deal. As long as it's not draining into the tank, it's okay. So you're gonna flip that pump. Or flip the switch, sorry. And now it's pouring into this tank and it's mixing. Okay? So now, here's where you want the next part, is you want it to automatically disperse into the next tank. So you're going to put a pump there, orient it. So now it's going to draw from that tank into here, and now you've got your mixing tank. And please note that the tanks you can connect the pipe to all 6 sides of it, so top, bottom, left, right, front, back, etc. So now it's drained all of the vis, so now it's draining all of the taint that was left in that tank. So now you have it mixed, but now suddenly you change your mind, or you don't want this mixed anymore. What you can do is just put a pump right there. Oh, sticky keys, what the hell's going on here? There we go. My keyboard does that for some reason. I don't know, it's like being dumb. Let's hook that up to a lever, and then connect, say, pump right here. I didn't put a torch, so pretend that's a torch. And then connect that there. So what's going to happen is when you want to get rid of it, it's pumping it back into the receiving line, and it gets separated by the 2 valves, and it's going back into these tanks, and that's how you build it. That's how you make it. Now, mind you, depending on where you are, you have to obviously adapt it, unless you're going to build in a big open space like this. But yeah, that's pretty much what you do. It's fairly straightforward. You just have to get that. As long as you keep, okay, the key thing in this is that these two drain pumps these pipes have to stay separated until they reach this tank, and they have to be pumped into this tank from different sides. You can't connect it like that because it'll get clogged and you'll have problems. So I highly recommend, I'm sure there's a way you can do it, but I highly recommend you keep the pipes separate until they reach the tank, and then extract from the tank into your mixing tank. Think of that as like your medium, right? So yeah, that's how you make it. Now, because I got into this mod because I wanted to use the Technic pack, but I personally hate the Technic pack. Like, the first one that was made was really good, but now they have all kinds of stupid mods, and they don't really, let's see how to put this. They don't really make it so that you don't have conflicting controls. Like, I have like 8 billion controllers that are all conflicting with each other, and it gets really annoying to have to edit all the time. Plus, it drains a lot of memory, so I've been like, you know what? I'll look through the list, pick some mods that I liked, and I just got Elram's, Thaumcraft, and a couple of other ones. Equivalent Exchange is one. Now, this mod is compatible with, obviously, the Technic pack mods. This design, as it was part of it. So Elram's mod works beautifully with this. Honestly, I love Elram. Or Elram's mods, rather. Don't want that to be taken the wrong way. So you can use these brick jacketed pieces and connect it to the pumps, which I find ridiculously handy. It is so much, oh my god, it's just lovely to have these alloy wires. Although, I'll just add a bonus here for you guys watching. This mod, or one problem I always found with these bricks, with these jacketed cables, I never could figure out how to freaking connect it to your regular redstone, like how to connect it like that, because it just doesn't connect right. I always use redstone dust. It's a lot simpler. You just put a piece of redstone on the same, or alloy, you just put it in the same space, and then it connects it automatically like that. That is ridiculously useful. I don't think it works with insulated though. Nope, this crystallizer looks like it's crystallizing. Oh, I've got 2 fiery and an earthen. So yeah, this is your Thaumcraft filtration Vis system. Yeah, if you guys have any questions or need any help, let me know. Just leave a comment. Alright, thanks for watching.